So give me a call at 800-375-4188.
Well, how about Joe's Coin Store? Can you beat his prices?
Most of the time.
Hmm.
Most of the time.
Incidentally, the leading gold stocks were up 7, 6, 7, and 2% today. The leader of the pack, Agnico, was up $3.27 at 49.11. And the reason I point that out to you is that the stocks and the numismatic coins usually lead the pack to the upside, and so you watch them. And so this is a good indication, based upon gold being up 8-something today. Agnico Eagle should have been up about 80 or 90 cents, maybe a buck, maybe a buck and a quarter, but not 3.27. So the buyers of shares are telling you we see higher prices tomorrow.
Good. And of which, what is the minimum amount that people should hold? And I know what I tell people, but what do you consider to be a minimum amount of gold and silver in a family of
minimum?
Four? Minimum.
Well, I can't even speak in those terms.
I know.
I mean, if you're poor, you buy some silver. A quarter bag or something. Maybe one sovereign or something. Whatever. Do you take orders under $1,000?
There's not a whole lot that's under $1,000 anymore. I'll do a roll of silver eagles. You can buy, francs. You can buy some foreign gold. You can buy some circulated $5 liberties. Those are all under $1,000. So yeah, I'll sell orders under $1,000. I don't turn anybody
you're
away.
one of the few firms that'll do it. I'll tell you that, because most of them will go, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, because we really don't make any money on it. We actually probably lose money on that. However, the way I look at it is the lady or the gentleman who, buys one Swiss franc has family, they have friends, and sometimes they come into a windfall, and they will come back and they will refer you. And I can't tell you how many wonderful people I have that refer people to me. And it's amazing. It's, I just, it just humbles me to think that, people, think that much and know how hard I work to achieve good prices, great shipping. And so it is deeply appreciative. And like I said, I just thank them all. So she also wanted to know about the difference, how much gold and how much silver in ounces or in dollar amount, and I do it.
Yeah, we answered that, really.
Percentages, 80% gold, 20% silver, based on. I have an interesting question, if I can find it here. I have a lot of them that came in, but I did want to get to this particular one here, and it is about...
I print them out, and when I have a number of them.
Here it is. There's an opinion floating around out there that it's possible to legally move your wealth out of the U.S. by purchasing foreign stocks that are traded on within the U.S. and on foreign stock markets. You buy the stock within the U.S. and then sell it in some foreign country. Your wealth is thereby transmitted from within the U.S. to without the U.S. without the interference of the IRS or any other governmental agency. Allegedly, the trick to this transfer is to buy stock in foreign corporations that are not incorporated within the U.S. So if you bought a stock in a U.S. corporation and then tried to sell that stock in a foreign market, governmental regulations might intrude. But if you bought stock in a foreign corporation and sold that stock in a foreign market, U.S. regulators might not intrude. Is that theory roughly correct?
Right, but you are not liable for tax as an American citizen on that unless you bring the money back to the United States. So if you gain from an investment in, say, a corporation that's incorporated in the Cayman Islands or the Turks and Caicos that happens to be sitting in Switzerland or someplace, then you have to get the money out there in the first place. And so, assumably, if you're an American, you'd be sending a wire for funds to XYZ Corporation that happens to be at the bank so-and-so in Zurich or in the Bahamas or someplace. And so there's a trail there. The trick is you never bring it back. And if you don't bring it back, it don't get taxed.
So there will always be a trail, but what if you move to another country?
Most of the people who move to other countries do business in the countries that they're in if they can. Now, there's very few countries that trade U.S. stocks. Mexico, as an example, does not trade U.S. stocks. Now, most people don't know that. But some Mexican stocks do trade in the New York Stock Exchange. So what you would do is if you wanted to put money in Mexico City in a corporation that's incorporated in Turks and Caicos, you get the corporation and you put it with the brokerage house in Mexico City, and then you fund it, and then you might buy Chemex, which trades in New York as well as in Mexico, and then you can trade there. But as far as buying IBM, no, you can't do that. Now, that might change. It certainly differs from country to country. I mean, the laws also pertaining to gold and silver coins being brought in and out of different countries is different in every country, and the laws are very vague. I was sent the laws this morning or yesterday, I can't remember, on a country in South America. And, without further investigation, the law says, well, this is what it is, but it may be changed at any time. So, you got to be on the lookout doing that sort of stuff. My advice is, look, if you're going to do something outside the United States, move out. And if you don't want to move out, stay there and suffer, financially. The Swiss contend we wouldn't have any business here if the taxation schemes in countries across the world weren't so punitive. People wouldn't want to try to hide their assets and have secrecy if you people were doing the right thing. And the Swiss are right. All these governments throughout the world are a bunch of crooks. And they want to raise taxes, and people pay these unbelievable taxes like in Europe. I mean, taxation in Europe is around 70-75% if you put them all together. You include the VAT and everything else. And, you can understand why they do that. And, how do you beat that? You have one tax. And that's 20% or 25% on everything you buy. And the rich people buy more than the poor people, so they pay more taxes. Pretty simple. I hear all the socialists saying, well, that means that the poor people would pay more. All you have to do is exempt food and housing. That's simple. So anything beyond that is taxed 20% or 25% or whatever it is. And you know what's going to happen? The country's going to boom. 1/3 of the people in the United States are not filing. They'll make money. 1/3. That's $500 billion a year the U.S. government doesn't get because taxes are onerous. And so people just don't file. And if you never start to file, they don't even know you exist. But you have to have your own business to do that. That's one of the problems that California has, particularly Southern California. About 40% of the people who live there don't file, state or federal, and there's no records. They all work for cash. And you can't run a giant enterprise like, I think it's the 8th largest nation in the world, California. You can't have that happen.
This next question that comes in talks about the traditional and Roth IRAs. They want to know if they should close them and use the proceeds to buy numismatic gold coins.
I think it depends on what the rest of your financial structure is, your age, your employment. I always have to talk to people on those, but I will say this, that legislation has had hearings in the House, the possibility of amalgamating retirement plans with Social Security. And if they ever get that out of committee in that kind of form, I would tell everybody to sell everything in retirement, and if they can't get at their money